Okay.
We're big on continuous improvement. So like I said before, we looked into the industry and we saw there are two things that are missing, or two things that are rare.
Okay.
We have the user experience and the user design, and then we have maintenance. So we have this bad maintenance culture here. And why don't we come up with applications or with a service that our users will enjoy for years to come?
It is no news that Nigeria's digital and technological sector has been doing amazing, booming with lots and lots of talents and solutions, and one of which is software development. So today on Connect, brought to you by Crypto Street TV, I will be having a very interesting conversation with a developer of a software solution. If you're new to the channel, my name again is Choma Oti, and you're welcome to today's episode. At this point, I would like you to meet my guest. So please introduce yourself to our viewers.
Hello everyone, my name is Belba Ngoy. I'm the CEO and founder at Belsoft System Limited.
All right, so you're welcome to Connect today, and it's such a pleasure to have you here. So I'd like us to jump right into the conversation, and I believe it's going to be a very interesting one. So first off, from the very basics, I would like to know how you got the name Belsoft.
Back at the Tech Academy, right? When I joined the Tech Academy, whenever I did my designs, I would write underneath, right at the footer, powered by Belsoft. So somehow everyone just starts calling me Belsoft in the Tech Academy. But the name Belba means nature's beauty. And belle in French means, beautiful, right? So that's Belsoft comes from a point of user experience and user design, in the sense that we want to put out there beautiful designs that meet customers' needs. So that's where this comes from.
That's great. So with that out of the way, let's jump right into it. So tell me, what is Belsoft Systems Limited really about? What do you people do?
Okay, so Belsoft Systems Limited is a software development company that is focused on user experience and user design. Before we started, we noticed that about 80% of applications that are developed, they die as quickly as they're developed because of the user experience. So we thought that it would be great for us to bring in innovative user experience and user designs that will break into the market. So that's basically what Belsoft Systems is all about. And also, we have a dream that one day Nigeria will own its own apps.
We believe so, and we'll start by saying amen to that. We hope to see that come to fruition. All right, so I feel like, and I've heard a number of people say that the software development sector is getting gradually saturated. Do you think so?
Well, it's competitive, but not oversaturated, because there's still opportunities for innovation in UI and UX, as I said. Many apps have all the functionalities. I mean, good functionalities, working well, but most times you see user-centric apps are rare. And I think in that aspect of the industry, there's still much more opportunities there. So yeah.
Yes, and I think another thing that would make anyone stand out in this space is your unique selling proposition, I believe. So tell me what your unique selling proposition is.
Okay, so at Belsoft Systems, we are big on user experience, user design. We're big on continuous improvement. So like I said before, we looked into the industry and we saw there are two things that are missing, or two things that are rare. We have the user experience and the user design, and then we have maintenance. So we have this bad maintenance culture here. And why don't we come up with applications or with a service that our users will enjoy for years to come? So we always have continuous improvement. Continuous improvement is what has kept us in the books of our clients for as long as we've been. So those are the things that really make us stand out.
Interesting. You talk like someone that's been in this business for a while. How long have you been in this sector for?
Well, as an individual, professionally for like 5 years.
Okay.
But as a company, we just started on the 10th of January this year.
Oh, you're fairly new, so you're like newbies in this
Yes,
sector.
exactly.
But what has it been like for you? What has your experience been running a business in this sector?
Well, number one, I'll steal some words from one of our senior colleagues in the industry. You need a whole lot of resilience.
I think in Nigeria, you need resilience for almost everything.
Everything, right?
Yeah.
Yes, and but although with all the constraints and all, we were able to tap into some of the opportunities and some of the chances that were given to us by strategic partnerships and all of that. So yeah, our experience has actually been somewhat progressive, I'd say.
Yes, and I believe it's going to get better with time.
Oh,
yes. So as you said earlier, I'm going to quote you, you said the sector is very competitive and it's easy for you to stay for a while without having clients or customers. So tell me, how do you get clients for your business?
Okay, so in this kind of business, you have to always be out there. I know in every business you have to go out there, but in the tech space, you have to go out there. You've got to be relevant. You got to stay up to date at all times. So this is one of the ways in which we're able to get clients, aside from strategic partnerships with the likes like Founders Friday, like the Congolese community diaspora here, and OJ Media as well, one of our partners as well. So with that, we are able to, put ourselves in a platform where we can actually be seen by the people who need our service.
Okay, yeah. That's great. So I went through your company's profile and I saw that you run an academy. So I'd like you to talk about the academy. What is it really about? How long has it been in existence? And where do you get tutors? What's your curriculum like? A lot of questions.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so the academy is something I'm very passionate about.
Okay.
From Tech Academy, when I did my designs, people will see them and be like, it looked like waiting Oyibo did too. So it was mixed feelings because it was a compliment, but at the same time, I felt kind of a little bit down because I felt that here we can actually do that too. Okay. So tutoring is something I've been doing on the side all the while before I started the company. So open Belsoft Academy, we have a curriculum that doesn't just teach people the tech skills, but also gives them that experience to be able to see like real world experiences. Something like expert viewpoints. We introduce expert viewpoints where we have experts in the industry come talk about their challenges, talk about their wins and their losses, and they get to ask questions to understand what the industry is like before they even get in. Okay, and then the best one of them, of course, we try to bring them in as interns into the company to see what they can do. So.
And I think that's one of the best ways to get into a particular industry, especially if you're not very knowledgeable as intern or as a volunteer and like that. So earlier you said that it's been progressive so far, and I said I hope it gets better over time, right? But then I know that over time, working in this particular line of business, you probably have encountered certain challenges. So tell me about some of the challenges that you've encountered and how you've been able to surmount them.
Okay. At Belsoft Systems, we have our tagline says it only gets better, right? And that's one thing that has kept us going for this long, and I believe it to get us going for a longer time. So some of the challenges that we faced, managing limited staff, we're short-handed sometimes, and accessing funding, right? That's one thing that all startups face. But regardless, I mean, as a startup, we also faced management problems, which as a developer, coming into the CEO role was not really an easy transition because I'm used to wearing the hood and doing my thing. So having to come out, I had to learn a lot of things. So I had to take up the mantle of management so I could lay our structure in place. So my solution was to make sure I lay structure, and so far so good. The structure have actually been working okay. So I think that's basically the challenges.
Yes, I think planning and building a structure is more or less like the best foundation you can give your business. So I know that this line of business, like I said earlier, is quite wide, and also I want to know what you do as an individual to keep your business attractive to potential collaborators, sponsors, and donors even.
Okay, so one thing that would always, before tech, I was a professional soccer player, right? So and one thing, my coach, before I started professionally, I couldn't kick a ball like 5 times. Like I couldn't juggle the ball 5 times, but I could, nod the ball. So they're like, yeah, he's good in the air, but let's teach him something. So one thing they always told me that was very important in succeeding in football was consistency. And that is one thing that I brought into the tech with me, right? The tech career with me. So every time I talk to my team, I tell them about consistency. And I tell my developers sometimes, you might not want to code today, but just take a look at the code. Just sit, look at your code. Just be looking at them. And trust me, that's going to tell in your productivity tomorrow, right? And I think so far, I would say consistency is one thing that has kept us in the eyes of our potential clients, partners, and all, because whenever they call, they will say, I see what you guys are doing on. In fact, there's someone who, he has not become our client or partner yet, but every time he calls, I see what you guys are doing. I like the consistency. So consistency is what has actually brought us thus this far. Okay, and of course, resilience.
That's great. Consistency is key in whatever sector or in whatever that you do. So I'm very curious. I didn't intend to ask this question, but now that you mentioned this, I want to know how you started, how you got your initial funding, or did you bootstrap? How did it start for you?
Okay, so starting a business is something that was alien to me because I didn't have any idea how to do it, right? Okay, so, but luckily for me, I had a financial advisor as a wife. So I'll give a shout out to my beautiful wife, Queensley Belba Ngoy. Thanks to her, I was able to not only manage my finances, but direct them to the right, put them in the right direction. And when we started this company, I said, okay, I was actually working at the time. So all my salary for me was an investment. So I used to start up and all of that. So, but I would say one thing that was a winner for me was the moment I started, I got a deal to do like a mobile app for someone. So it was not too much like money, but that money was substantial enough for me to keep the ground running. And that was how I would say, okay, that's what actually started funding the company. So thanks to my financial advisor, I didn't want to like flex. So I was like, okay, why don't we put this money to good use? Let's use this to, hit the ground running for the company, and that actually was the starting ground for us.
That's great.
Yes.
That's great. So that means you've not gotten any huge seed funding yet.
No.
Okay, but do you have plans to do so? Are you preparing your organization for any kind of funding?
Yes, of course. We're actually working towards that. We've been doing proposals. We've been sending proposals. We've been registering for these types of funding, seeing them, we have family and friends who always send us these links. We check them out. If they're legit, we go ahead and do that. So we're actually preparing. So even if we're called now, like, oh, come, we got to go give a pitch here.
Investment ready.
Exactly. We're investment ready.
Oh, that's good. And I think it's very important because sometimes you may not even know who wants to sponsor you, and they will just call you up and you are probably not prepared. So conclusively now, we are coming to the end of this interview. So I would like to know, there's some young people out there that would want to start off a business in the tech area, specifically in the software development sector. What are some key things that you think they should work on incorporating into their businesses or into their business plan or whatever it is that they're doing for the groundwork? And how would you advise them to create a good company profile?
Okay, so there's one thing I always say to people who ask me about this. I'll start off by saying that ambition without knowledge is like a boat on dry land. So what I'll say is for any upcoming CEO or any aspiring CEO or founder, get knowledge. Because if you don't know something, you really can't manage people to do what you don't know. You don't even know if they're doing it well, right? So that's one. Two, if you don't have resilience, go buy some in the market.
How much does it cost though?
It just costs your will.
Yeah.
If you have will, you have resilience, basically. Always stay up to date with new trends. You should always stay up to, in fact, Alexa helps me a lot. I tell
Alexa.
She's always giving me the updates because for me, I don't really like reading much. Okay. Which is understandable for a football player. So, but I try as much as possible to put things that will always show me the directions, right? So they've got to be intentional about the business that you're about to go into. You don't do what you don't love.
That's
right?
true.
Exactly.
That's completely true.
Exactly.
Yeah, just to probe a little further, just one more question before I let you go. All right, so I want to know what the projection for Belsoft Systems Limited is for the future. What should we be looking forward to in your business the next 1 year, 2 years?
Okay, so what we have in store for the next 1 year, 2 years, we have a very interesting mobile app that will be coming up by the grace of God next year.
Okay.
UrbanX. UrbanX is going to be like the go-to app for anyone who comes into Nigeria. So starting Abuja as a starting point, and then we spread our tentacles. So we also look forward to, expanding. We are pursuing grants and, investors, and we're looking at from the next 3 years to have at least, 3-4 apps. Like I told you before, we want Nigeria to own its apps, WhatsApp, Facebook, name it. We want them to own their thing, own our data, because we want a data source, a central data source for Nigeria.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think I love the sound of that, and I cannot wait for that time when Nigeria has its own software. It has everything by itself and it's indigenous, and we can use it anyhow that we want. So I think it's been a really great conversation with you, I must say. Founder, Belsoft Systems Limited, it's been great talking to you. So to our viewers, I've gleaned a thing or two from this conversation, and I hope and believe that you have done the same. If you're new to the channel and you've not subscribed yet, ensure to do so. Share this video to that one person, to those 2 people, in fact 3 people that need to see these videos. Ensure that you turn on all notifications so that it tells you whenever we post a new video. And that will be it for today. Again, my name is Choma Oti, and it was great doing this. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.